friends, my name is Avi, and today we're going to be reviewing The Castle in the Sea. The first book in this series you should probably listen to before you get to this one. It's kinda complicated if you don't listen to this. The author is Marty McConney. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think it's Marty McConney. And this book is Castle in the Sea. The third book I have not yet read, so definitely stay tuned for that. And we're going to be reviewing this today. This book was the second book of my cli-fi genre, and I've never read this type of genre, and it seems kind of like sci-fi, but then it's like kind of a little animated and a little not believable. But I really like this book though. It was okay. Just took me a long time to finish this though. The four main characters are Will, Annalie, Pod, and Essie. Two of them are brother and sister, Will and Annalie, and Essie and Pod are their friends. Let's get started. If you listen to the last story, they escape from Uncle Art now, and they're going on to the other section of the Moon Islands. And they think their dad had left them lists of names and addresses. The first name was Dan Gari, and they needed to find him so they could ask him maybe he'd been there. And they also learned that their father was a scientist, and all those other people on the list were also scientists that worked with him before the flood, and that's what had caused the flood. So they were working on a scientific process called Callidius process, and that's what caused the giant flood, and that's when people started using more ships than cars. So they learned a lot of stuff from the last book. They went on. It was a pirate's island Dan Gari was on, so they had to cross some rough seas, and Will and Essie had been thrown off the boat. But Annalie and Pod searched for them, but they couldn't find them, so they just started going to Dan Gari by themselves. Will and Essie had to get there. They were reunited after that, and they found their way back, so they were reunited. They had a little celebration. It couldn't last for long, of course. They went to Dan Gari, and he said that Spinner had been there, but he'd left a week ago, and he had no information. He had never told him. So they also learned from him that they had the research, and they split up into fourths or fifths, and then just spread the research among them. They went to the next place in the north, called Nirvond, I think I'm saying it correctly, and that's where they met Sojana. Sojana is the next person on the list, and she was on the mountain where it was really cold, so they had a bit of problem there. They got up, and she said that he had already left. The next place they were going to was the third person, and their real father, Spinner, had called them and said, I've been here at Ganganam's house, and they were going immediately. His short name was Vesh, so they were going to Vesh's house. And that's when there was this giant fire, and their father had escaped and promised them to stay safe and do not go to the next, because the next place was called Sundia. Sundia was where they closed their borders after the flood, and nobody got in or out of Sundia. And their father was about to go into basically the most dangerous place with the Admiralty tracking him, and that was just it. They were like, okay, we're gonna go to Sundia too, when their dad was specifically saying, do not come after me. Their kids are not the following or listening type. But If you have a father on the loose, you've got to get him back, don't you?
Well, we'll see in the third book. So stay tuned.
Bye!